Hey, what's up YouTube? This is the Cartoon Man 13 here. Setting up the camera here. And I already did my list for the top 20 best movies of 2016. Now I'm going to do my list for the top 10 worst movies of 2016. Now, not all of these movies I hated. I just thought they were okay, they were eh. Like numbers 10 through 5, I just thought were they're decent time wasters. However, number 4 is when stuff really hits the fan. And the only dishonorable mention I have is Ghostbusters. I didn't hate this movie as much as other people did, but I just thought it was an okay time waster. But uh, I thought the acting was good. Some of the jokes worked, but some of the jokes didn't work. And I thought, like, some of the jokes were pretty cringeworthy at times, but it was pretty funny at times. But of course, it's not as good as the original Ghostbusters. And when I first saw it, I really liked it. However, as I kept rewatching it, yes, I did see this movie more than one time. I kind of liked it just a teeny bit less than I did when I first saw it. And yeah, I do have it on Blu-ray. I haven't seen the extended cut yet, and I'm going to. Hopefully they put in some jokes that are funny. And maybe they might do that. So yeah, the only dishonorable mention I have is Ghostbusters. It was still an okay, decent movie. If I plan on rewatching it again, okay, I'll watch the movie again. But you know, my dishonorable mention was Ghostbusters. Now let's get to the list. Number 10 is Meet the Blacks. I didn't hate this movie as much as other people did. I just thought it was okay. Um, yeah. Mike Epps did a decent job. Some of the jokes were pretty funny, I thought. There were a few that weren't funny. And, yeah, I thought for a parody movie, it was alright. I'll give the movie a 6 out of 10. Number 9, 50 Shades of Black. Again, another decent time waster with Marlon Wayans. Yeah, some of the jokes were pretty cringeworthy. It wasn't really that funny, but there were some jokes that were funny. I thought Marlon Wayans did a really good job. I thought it's not the worst parody movie I ever saw. Believe me, I've seen a lot worse. But you know, 50 Shades of Black. I'm gonna give 50 Shades of Black I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. It was okay. It was decent, but not the worst movie ever. You know what? Actually, I might give it. You know what? I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It was okay. It wasn't the worst parody movie ever, but there are a lot worse, believe me. But there are better. So yeah, 50 Shades of Black. Yeah. Number 8 is Bad Moms. Again, I did not hate this movie. Mila Kunis did a good job. Kristen Bell did a good job, but it's just some of the jokes were funny, but at the same time, there were some jokes that weren't really that funny. But the story was decent. I thought it was overall a decent movie. Nothing really much to talk about. I'll give Bad Moms a 6 out of 10. Number 7, How to Be Single. I kind of feel mixed about that movie. I mean, Dakota Johnson from 50 Shades of Grey, she does a pretty job acting wise, and so did Rebel Wilson. And some of the jokes were funny, but it kind of got a bit boring at times. Maybe it's because I'm not a fan of chick flicks, but there are some that I do like, but most of the time they don't work. And yeah, How to Be Single, I'll give a 6 out of 10. Number 6, The Boss. It was a pretty movie. Melissa McCarthy did alright. Kristen Bell did alright. I have to say I like Ghostbusters more, but The Boss, what I felt was a mixed movie in my opinion. Some of the jokes weren't really that funny, and but the acting was good and the story was good. You know what? Because of that, I'll give the movie a 5 out of 10. Number 5, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2, a pretty unnecessary sequel if you ask me. Some of the jokes weren't that funny. Nia Vardalos, she did a decent job. It was a pretty below average comedy that wasn't really that funny. I didn't really laugh at some of the sequences, and yeah, it was a pretty unnecessary sequel. I'm going to give My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Yeah, I didn't really like it that much. So yeah, those movies I didn't hate as much. However, starting with number 4 are movies that make you go, what the heck is this? Now, numbers 4 through now on, those are movies that I hate, that I don't like. Number 4 is Alice Through the Looking Glass. It's just a convoluted story. Johnny Depp taking over as the Mad Hatter, just, ooh, I'm the Mad Hatter. And I thought the story was confusing at times. I didn't really like some of the characters. The visuals were good, but that's about it. And the character of Father Time was interesting as well, even though he's basically the villain. And yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give Alice Through the Looking Glass a 3. You know what? I'll give it a 4 out of 10. It was just forgettable. Number 3 is X-Men Apocalypse. Now, this was a film that I was excited for. I was like, yes, another X-Men movie. But this movie was disappointing. I did not like X-Men Apocalypse. I thought it was boring. The story wasn't that interesting. Apocalypse wasn't even that interesting. He doesn't even do that much in the movie. And yeah, some of the CGI looked decent at best, but you know what? Yeah, it was pretty boring. I'm gonna give X-Men Apocalypse a 3 out of 10. Number 2 is going to be a controversial one, and believe me, number 1 is a critically hated movie. For good measure and for good reason. Number 1 will be not as controversial, but number 2 is going to be controversial. Number 2 is Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Yes, I did not like this movie. I thought it was boring. Some of the stuff annoyed me, like, I'm one with the Force with me. 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 Oh my God, shut up. Shut up, you're not funny. And some of the characters are pretty stupid and forgettable. And there was this brief moment in the film where the ape literally has a ball sack for a mouth. I'm not kidding. Look at an ape with a ball sack for a mouth. Great. Great. Force Awakens was a million times better than Rogue One. And yeah, Force Awakens at least had interesting characters, a really good story. Everything that Rogue One does not have. And yeah, I did not like Rogue One. I thought it was boring. I thought it was annoying. And yeah, a disappointing Star Wars movie. And believe me, is it as bad as the prequels? I don't know. But Rogue One, A Star Wars Story was pretty bad. I will say some of the action scenes were decent. And that moment with Darth Vader at the end, where he takes on all these bad guys, that was a cool scene. And I'm going to give Rogue One, A Star Wars Story a 2 out of 10. I did not like this movie. I thought it was boring. I thought the story wasn't even that compelling. And yeah. And like I said earlier, number 1 is a critically hated movie for good measure and for good reason. It's one of the worst animated movies I've ever seen. And that movie is Norm of the North. Yes, Norm of the North, I can see why this movie gets a lot of hate. It's boring. The animation didn't look that good. I didn't like the animation. I will say the animation does look a bit better than Food Fight, but that's not really saying much. So yeah, I thought the animation was horrible. I thought the characters and story were horrible. Rob Schneider is, what are you doing in this movie? You're not even funny. Just a twerking polar bear and a, 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 a pretty bad story in which the villain wants to build stuff in the Arctic. Oh my god. Oh my god, this movie was horrible. Norm of the North was a horrible movie. I hated Norm of the North. Terrible animation, terrible story, terrible characters, just terrible everything overall. I'm going to give Norm of the North a 0 out of 10. There was nothing I liked about Norm of the North. I hated Norm of the North. And yeah, I did not like Norm of the North. So yeah, that was my choices for the top 10 worst movies of 2016. And tell me in the comments below, what are your worst movies of 2016? I forgot to mention in my top 20 best movies of 2016. What are your best movies of 2016? Did you agree with some of my choices? Did you disagree on some of my choices? And comment below and let me know what your top 10 best and worst movies of 2016 are. And I will see you guys in 2017. So yeah, well, hopefully 2017 will be a great year for movies. And yeah, anyways, that's going to do it for this last video, 2016. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video, guys. And I will see you guys in 2017. So take care, everybody, and so long, everybody.